from your perspective, just kind of start about your feelings about this, and then we can get into some more specific questions.
Well, I think first and foremost, it's disappointing to say the least. We had just kicked off last week the Drive It Home campaign, and hope to move it forward in a proactive manner. Now, of course, we have to be a little reactive, knowing what GM's stance is now. It's on the table and moving forward. Just so happened that yesterday I got a message from one of my counterparts up in the Toronto area, and he says, "Hey, did you hear the news?" I said, "No, I didn't," and he sent me the link to their story they were running up in Toronto about the Oshawa plant and the announced closings there. And their official announcement didn't come until today either. But
how did it feel? What was the initial reaction? Like, did you feel caught off guard? What kind of things were you feeling?
I think the timing was a little surprising, just because we're rolling out of the Thanksgiving holiday weekend and everyone's getting back in. But it's really not a surprise. We know, looking back for now 18 months, that we've been at reduced capacity at the Lordstown plant. That's not an effective, efficient way to run a facility. We know we're under capacity and underutilized, so to be at the best place we can be, we need to utilize everything we have. That's our employees and the skilled labor that we have out there, as well as the facility, which is underutilized. And now, we're down to roughly 1,300 full-time GM employees there, plus the parts suppliers as well. So, call it 3,500-ish, 3,000, 3,500 employees working in direct support, plus all the downstream suppliers as well. But it's still not efficient and effective. At one point we're well over 10,000 employees. Oshawa, he told me that they were almost 25,000 employees at one point. Now they're down to 2,500. So very similar situation. So we know GM, just from a business case analysis, has to make it make sense, make business sense out of it. So what we want to be, just like Drive It Home. Drive It Home is not dead. It's still alive and well and moving forward, working with the UAW and Dave Green and saying, hey, we want to be prepared for what's next. We know that the cruise was potentially ending, sometime soon, and we were wondering what was going to happen. Now we got the announcement that, the plant was going to be deallocated. So now there is no product allocation for the plant, which is slightly different. Is it semantics? Is it, happy to glad wordsmithing to say that we're being deallocated? I don't think so. I think there's still some opportunity here, and we want to make sure that GM understands that there's opportunity here. We want the workforce to understand there's opportunity here, and we want our community to know that there's opportunity here. So whether it's GM or some other manufacturer, some other automotive supplier, who knows, that we have the workforce here, the skilled, available talent that's here, and we want to keep them here. We don't want them. I understand they may have to go off and, if GM offers them a job in Indiana or Michigan or Tennessee, that they got to make that decision what's best for their family. But we want to make sure the community knows that we're prepared for what's next. So they say that roughly 75%, or soon to be 75%, of their total revenue comes from three market products, and that's their trucks, SUVs, and crossovers. Well, we don't make any of those. So how do we get in the mix? Well, GM's saying that in 2015, part of their strategic investment plan was that they were going to move their future investment, into the low emission, no emission market. So that's electric and some other alternate fuel sources, and autonomous vehicles. So we want to make sure that we're ready and we can be involved in that workspace, so that we can provide the skill and the talent that's needed. We have a facility that's here, and we want to be involved in that market. And if it's with GM, so be it. We hope they are. They've been a partner here for over half a century. We'd like to keep them here, and we'd like to see them take that 21st century step and move forward and make some investment here in our market and in our facility.
You kind of mentioned it, but if you can just talk about it a teeny bit more. It's staying, it's alive, and are you still trying to get a new product here?
Absolutely. Bring It Home is about getting the word out, and we said we started off just a week ago, and it was mainly a public awareness campaign to get the word out of what we have here in this facility and what we have in the workforce, and we're still going to do that. So it's still alive, and we're letting other folks know, not just in our community, but outside, across the state, and in Detroit especially, that we have opportunity here, and we want to be in the consideration, in the mix, when they make a choice for investment. And the way we're going to do that and make sure that GM in particular understands that we're ready for that next investment is through a program like Drive It Home Ohio. So we're going to continue working with Dave Green and the UAW and all those skilled folks that are out there in Lordstown, and make sure that GM and anyone else that might be interested knows that we've got the workforce available. And not only could we build it better than anybody in the 20th century, but we're ready for the 21st century. Maybe we can bring some other unique aspects that are resources that are available here in our community, like T-Bike out in Warren. If we're going to have low emission, no emission vehicles and alternate fuel sources, well, maybe an incubator in Warren, like T-Bike, can be that catalyst that will help them, whether it's with energy storage, battery storage, who knows. We have that capacity here, and it's kind of a unique piece. The other one is America Makes. So we've got the National Additive Manufacturing Center for Excellence right here in Youngstown. Well, why not bring that to bear and some of those to make our manufacturing, and especially automotive manufacturing, more competitive?
Right.
I read an article recently that BMW says they now surpassed the 1 million parts market, or parts point, so that over 1 million parts have been 3D printed and added to their production vehicles in BMW. So where's GM at that with that? Where's Ford? Well, we're right here in the Mahoning Valley with that 21st century technology to bring, you know, that next step in additive manufacturing or advanced manufacturing, and we can help them do that. And we have the skilled workforce, and we've got the resources right here to do it. And Bring It Home is alive. We ask people to go, whether it's on Facebook, Bring It Home Ohio, or bringithomeohio.com, and check out what's the latest and see what's going on here, and making sure we're ready for the Mahoning Valley in the future. And I think the opportunities are there. It's about being ready for that next opportunity, and instead of being reactive, we'll be proactive.
If someone was, what does this mean for the economy and the people that it's going to trickle down and affect more than just, you know, the initial people that work there? What does that mean in the bigger picture?
Well, anytime you have a workforce the size of GM Lordstown, it's going to cause a significant rift in our market. We're not that big. In total, we have roughly 240,000 people in our greater market employed in the workforce, and a good percentage of those work in places like Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Akron. It's about 20% of those migrate out. So when you have a workforce of, let's say, in total out there now about 3,000 and change working in that market, and then the secondary and tertiary markets, you know, you might be upwards of 10,000 folks across our greater region that are directly affected. It is a big deal, so we have to be prepared for that. But the fact that it's not closed yet gives us some opportunity to react. But like I said earlier, we want to be proactive. Granted, the people that work there, they're feeling that effect today. And the folks that have already been furloughed or laid off, they've already felt that effect, some of them over a year ago. So it's getting closer to home, but it's time to bring it home and continue moving those ideas forward and being prepared for that next opportunity. We don't want to rely on GM to bring it to us. We want to bring it to them and tell them that we're ready for that. And it's not just GM. We do that. The Regional Chamber is the lead economic development organization for Trumbull and Mahoning County, and we go out every single day working to attract and retain the businesses that are here in the valley. Mm-hmm. But GM at one point was our largest employer in the region. Now they're our fourth largest employer. We want to keep them here, and we want to keep them engaged at some level. If it's 1,300 employees, so be it, but we'd like to see it climb back up and be ready for what comes next, what's down the line. And who knows, maybe we can be the forefront of the autonomous vehicle revolution that's coming.
Absolutely, and you're going to fight for it.
We will.
Like it. That's awesome.
We'll be here, we're fighting, we're still open for business. The Mahoning Valley is a great place to live, learn, work, and play, and we can do all those things. And we just have to remind not only ourselves, but everyone else from time to time that we have everything we need right here, and we have to fight for it, and we'll bring this project or whatever comes next.